driving her over to Giselle's to film. It's not a great year for Karen. Number 7.
That's a good one. That's a good
Thank
one.
you. Who's your number 6, girl?
My number 6 is Vonti. You,
Ooh,
for
Vonti's.
all the reasons you just said, the Vontis.
Mhm.
I think the only thing I would add to what you said of why she's having such a terrible year, I mean, she went through that. She's lost that lawsuit currently against Heather. She owes $30,000, which, she has 4 kids.
Oh, I
Cannot
forgot
be
about the
easy
lawsuit. Yeah.
to come up with. And then I would add to that, I think the hardest part for anyone in these franchises is when a cast, like, I mean, Sonia Rita and Ramona and Dorinda, they're all kikiing it up, calling each other, going, look at this joke that is Roni, the reboot. What a mess. They can never replace us. We were the queens.
Hmm.
Bethany doing the same. But when you're Von Teese and Jen
Shaw?
Shaw, it cannot be, it's a low moment because Salt Lake, we haven't talked about him. We don't think about him. And to have one of the biggest moments of 2023, I'm sure Von Teese was on our best list last year.
I
And then to
I'm
be
pretty sure she was, if I remember correctly.
Look, life changes on a dime, but for that reason, she is number 6. It cannot be easy. Where do you go from here? You are the voice of villains, but
I mean, how much were you paid for that? I mean, you'll take it. You're not.
probably 10,000, for a voiceover, 10, 15
Mhm.
grand, which is great. But, even just the legal fees of fighting Heather and you've lost and now trying to do I mean, is an appeal worth it? For what? Your ego or for the lawyer's fees? I mean, very tough year. Fonteese, number 6.
Listen, we got a lot of crossovers on this list. My number 6, giving her a worse case scenario than you is Teodoro Mellenball. Teodoro Mellenball is
Really?
my number 6. She's, I think, your number 9. Look, I mean,
Why
she's
is it the
got
worst case? Yeah.
number 6 for Teddy because well, first of all, she's spoken out and said, like, I'm not doing okay. She's not doing okay. It's like, yeah, it's like, look, you can't stay with someone just so that people don't find out, but it ain't clean. This is pretty messy. You know what I mean? It's pretty messy and it's pretty messy, right? And she's not happy and I mean, is this the worst of it? Is the worst of it that the woman was pregnant and Carly and him, Schroeder, his last name is Schroeder, not related to Stassi. Like, is this the worst of it, or what else is lurking behind door number 2? Because remember with Erica Jane or Kyle,
Yeah.
I mean, things came out. So I just think that it wasn't a good year for Teddy. And it's not a clean divorce, and people are coming for her for having an affair with this married guy. I am not judging. I am nobody to judge. But I'm just saying it's just I think she's feeling it, right? And the kids, and it's to listen, divorce. You have talked to people that go through divorce. I know people, it ain't easy. It ain't easy, right?
It's not. It's very, very challenging. Wow.
Number
Teodoro
6,
high on the list.
Teodoro. Yep.
We're getting into the top 5. My
Hmm.
5 for the worst of 2024 is Andy Cohen.
Ooh,
Daddy Cohen.
girl, why? Tell me.
Well,
Good
Daddy
one. Good
Cohen,
one.
no Bravo Con this year.
Hmm.
Can't seem to get it together with Vanderpump Rules. He's been
Hmm.
accused of doing cocaine, being abusive towards women, had the reality reckoning launched and lobbed against him. I mean, really, in a way, you could argue greatest year because NBC has stuck by him like unconditionally. But he's being sued by Leah McSweeney. He did not appear in court with her a couple of weeks ago, but she went to court. Multiple lawsuits coming again, still out there against him. And I think the hardest part of all, now Andy's going to be just fine, everybody. Andy is going to be more than fine, and he's already solidified his genius in the history books. But we are looking at some of the worst ratings, television, reality TV ratings that we have ever seen, not just for Bravo, but across the board. I have heard from a reliable source at Lifetime that they do, Married at First Sight, that they are not even doing any more reality at the moment. They have hit pause on all reality TV projects, new projects, because the ratings are so bad. Um, the network, it's going to be interesting to see where Bravo is 2 years from now. So I think this is a very challenging year for Andy, even though he doesn't show it. Number 5 for me.
Such a good one. I mean, thinking outside the box didn't put him on the housewife list, but might as well. I mean, Kelly Dodd and her mother just called him a sissy. Those are really good reasons. Very good reasons. Even when you say maybe the best year, but I get it. Number five for me, she was on your list, Kenya Moore. Now
Oh, wow.
she did the interview. She was number four, but I moved her down and I moved the person from four up.
Oh, interesting.
She was look, she was on Tamron Hall. She did all this stuff about I left because it was such a hard decision for the network. Girl, you did not leave Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm sorry. She says Kenya Moore hair care is doing great. Sure. I'm sure it is. I'm sure that businesses are fine. I know the children's book for Brooklyn sold out. It's not the same as being on Housewives. It's just not. The salary was over $1 million. It's a big hit where I don't know if you're coming back next season. I think we'll have one of the worst seasons of Atlanta ever, and then anything's possible. I mean, God, bring her and Nene back after this if anyone still cares and just make it a bang. Bring Zulcy, yeah, but just make it this
Yep.
hybrid shit doesn't work. It doesn't work. Do a girls trip Atlanta. Do an actual Atlanta cast with Nene, Kenya, Kim. No charade. We just had her. You can keep Portia. Do you know what I mean? Like bring back like really heavy hitters. It's going to be a fucking expensive show. It's going to be an expensive show, but the girls are going to have to take a pay cut. Like you mean to tell me Nene Leakes won't take a pay cut? She'll be the highest paid, but everyone will get a pay cut. We'll make the numbers work. Just bring back the heavy hitters for Atlanta if this season fails. And I don't mean
I
girls trip.
love
I
it.
mean like Atlanta, like in Atlanta, and just this bringing back Nene. Yeah, it's gonna work. Just bring everybody back. Blow it out. Nene and Kim and Kenya and Portia and I don't know. You want to throw keep Drew. Drew's doing good. You know what I mean? Like just throw Jordan in there or keep Phaedra, but just make it like a don't right.
Yes.
But
Take a page out of if you want to be in the entertainment business, you should watch the Vince McMahon documentary on Netflix. So good.
that's what you said.
But Vince, nothing was personal. And he even brought
Hmm.
back a wrestler.
That's
She
like
sued
me.
him. She sued him for sexual harassment.
Who
He
cares?
found a way,
Hmm.
which she won. I think she actually got a settlement. And she was so popular with the audience, he rehired her. And I think there was something, I don't know if they didn't appear on screen for a while together. There was like a little bit of a hiccup. Honey, he paid her out in court. He was guilty of sexually harassing her, obviously, or he paid her to keep quiet. Then he hired her back.
I
Didn't
love it.
care
I love
anything for the ratings. And they just said Vince. And no matter Vince would take an L one day, like whatever, he would lose $100 million, something. The next day he would come in, no whining, no complaining, no down. It's like, okay, bottom line, how are we going to make WWE the most entertaining event of all time?
I love it.
Never got down. And there were no enemies. Like he didn't matter anything for the ratings, and it was not personal. And I don't know why Bravo needs to do the same. I couldn't agree with you more. What a fabulous idea.
And right. So that's, but I mean, like right now she's gone. And so I don't look, I don't think she's banned like Leah McSwiney, but I don't think, I mean, she's gone now. She's on the show and she's gone. And that can't be a good thing. It's still a setback. I don't care how you want to spin it. So to me, unfortunately, Kenya has had the fifth worst year, I think, for Housewives. Who's your number four?
Number four is Bethany Frankel for me.
Ooh.
What a disaster of a year. Now, again, you could probably argue, much like Andy, maybe this hatrepreneur, where she just